Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing Destiny 2's episode, Revenant. The second episode planned for Destiny after the Light and Dark saga is named Revenant. This blue scale card offers us a comparatively clear scene of clues compared to that of Echoes. In the upper right corner of the card, we can see Fikrul wielding his staff, seemingly lit up by his iconic arc energy, although with a blue tint it is admittedly hard to tell. Fading out of Fikrul and looking to the bottom of the card, we can see a horde of Screeves staged underneath him. These Screeves are active and hostile, one of them even reaching out as though grabbing at you. It is possible there's a third figure all the way along the left wall of the card, but personally my brain just sees it as some included scenery. I think we're very clearly headed to a Scorn-focused episode during the time of Revenant, so let's learn a few things about the terrors of the Reef. The Scorn are one of many fascinating creatures in the universe of Destiny. Though they don't have a genesis like we may associate with traditional individual species, these resurrected Eliksni are absolutely unique from their origins. Fikrul has been our main named focus for the Scorn since they arrived in Forsaken. There have of course been others. The Rifleman and the Trickster are probably the most well known, for their own reasons. Fikrul, however, was the right hand of the corrupted Aldrin Sov, and the leader of what we came to know as the Scorn. Fikrul's story is one meant to elicit sympathy with our enemy, and in my opinion, I think it does it very well. Established along the revealing of Aldrin's loss to Riven, we are introduced to a dying Archon losing ether quickly. This Eliksni, whose job it was to tend to the very machines who generated the life-giving ether, had been ambushed by a pair of Guardians while on a routine resource mission. The prince had followed the trail of fresh ether to where the wounded priest lay, and worked in vain to dress its wounds. While internally crying out for things to be different, lamenting his lack of power to bring about change, he wished for the ability to do something, anything. And it was in this moment of grief that the corrupted prince wiped the tears from his burning eyes, oblivious to his hands now soaked in tainted ether. After this, Fikrul made a name for himself as a loyal lieutenant for his found father. Together they would explore and grow their new family in the Scorn, turning attention on the Eliksni House of the Kings. The House of Kings were well known in the Sol system as being one of the real powers behind the scenes and schemes, often felt but rarely seen. However, even this regal line was no match for a royal Awoken who had already been the leader of a spy network, even before receiving the backing of an Ahamkara's deceit. There had been dealings between Aldrin and the Kings in the past, and a tenuous trade of secrets seems to have been established between them. The Kell of Kings received Aldrin and Fikrul with the ironic intention of offering their personal forfeit to the Awoken Prince. This was done in an effort to make Aldrin a puppet monarch, to be the mantle of blame for forcing the Eliksni people into the new modern age they found themselves in the Sol system. This would be the last act that Kell made, before Fikrul docked the forearms from the now broken Eliksni Dreg, and prepared the House of Kings for the revelations Fikrul had come to spread. Under the power that had given new life to Fikrul, he would raise his new Scorn brethren from the Kings and others. It is after this point, the video will contain spoilers for the current season, if you aren't all caught up. I will never cover content leaks or data mining, but there is lore from the current dungeon and surrounding missions I would like to talk about. Here we go. The Scorn were long thought to have been the sole product of Riven and her corruption over Aldrin Sov. We've recently discovered a nest of Scorn hidden away in the crumbling ruins of a long-forgotten warlord's castle. The timing for the story of these new Scorn would actually place them well before the events of Uldren's corruption and resulting creation of Fikrul. The majority of Scorn contained within the dungeon, Warlord's Ruin, are in fact also from the House of Kings. During the Dark Ages, after the collapse, Risen, known as warlords, ran rampant throughout the land. One of these warlords, a particularly powerful and ruthless one named Naim, found herself tired of the endless profiteering and reaping from those weaker positioned than herself. Originally seeking land where she would no longer be greeted as a warlord, she eventually began chasing tale of bones that could whisper wishes. Seeking out this power, she begins to reason with the Ahamkara Hefen, claiming that she can bear the burdens so that others may enjoy the benefits of wish magic untainted. Hefen protests at first, but Naim asks the great dragon to reflect. Wouldn't you rather be loved than feared? With this, the two formed a bond that was described as mutual domestication, and it is told the villagers benefited greatly. Unfortunately, as with any settlement at that time, let alone a thriving one, they caught the attention of the Elixni. For Naim and Hefen, these would carry none other than the banners of the House of Kings. Unfortunately, the two would not survive this encounter, but with Naim's dying will, she wished for her vengeance to follow the kings into the grave. Judging by the number of Scorn encountered here, her vengeance was enacted. To further place the true origin of the Scorn in question, we have also seen them appear to be under the control of the Witness at different points in the game. Would this mean there is some relation between the paracausal forces behind wish magic and the yet undescribed power the Witness clearly holds over certain forces? Fikrul sent his most trusted knights to the ruined keep tucked away in the mountains of the EDZ, hoping to retrieve his brethren for what he perceives as the betterment of all Scorn. Unfortunately, by the time our Guardian and their fire team reach the castle, these knights appear to be following different orders, as evidenced by their new titles of Broken. There's clearly some form of power struggle going on for the Scorn, and as much as Fikrul may not want to accept it, there seems to be some question to their autonomy. Either these Scorn knights found themselves corrupted by the whispers of Hefen, or there is some other allure they found. But they do appear to have abandoned their mission. I think for the upcoming episode Revenant, we should expect to see the return of Fikrul. I think that much is certain. However, the question, I believe, comes in the form of, do we see Fikrul once again rise as an adversary? Or will he accept that the yoke of control the Witness exhibited is now gone, and take his people to live out some freedom elsewhere, away from the Guardians? Thanks for hanging out for some lore and theory crafting. I know it's been some time since we had a clear focus on Scorn, but between what we've learned in Warlord's Ruin and what we have upcoming in episodes, I think we'll see their story as a culture fleshed out in more detail. Next week, we'll be focused on the third and final projected episode on the roadmap, Heresy. See y'all then. Have a good one.